everyone, welcome to another episode of Guiding Voices. Guiding Voices is our podcast where we celebrate mentorship, perseverance, and the transformative power of education. Today we have Dr. Nuran Hesham. Dr. Nuran is a dedicated mentor and a passionate educator who is actually committed to shaping the next generation of engineers and researchers. Dr. Hesham holds a PhD in electrical engineering from the University of British Columbia and is right now a postdoc. Our research focuses on wireless communication and particularly in the performance analysis of large-scale network in finite blockchain regime. So I would like to welcome Dr. Hesham today. She's an amazing mentor. She's from Egypt, and I'll say hi to every Egyptian. Thank you for loving us at We Guide in Egypt, and we really appreciate your work, Dr. Hesham. And today we're just diving into the many challenges, the many lessons learned, and your insights so far in your career. So, first of all, what inspired you to pursue a career in teaching and research? Plus the fact that it's in engineering. So, what kind of inspired that?
Yeah. First, I want to thank you for this initiative. I really love it, and I hope one day it spreads everywhere across Africa, and it makes a true impact on people's life. Okay, so regarding your question, what motivated me, or what made me really value the idea of mentorship and how and the impact that mentorship do on people's life is basically I would give the credit to some of my professors and the TAs when I was an undergrad. When I was an undergrad, I was lucky to have some of my professors who had this kind of message, or they were not just lecturers or just professors, they're professional professors. They had a message that they wanted to convey. They wanted to have impact on our lives. They want to feel some meaning, they want to add meaning to their life. So they used to give and teach from their hearts, and whatever they were trying to do, it we sensed it in as a student. So we can differentiate between just a professor who's professional professor who can teach, and the other one another one who had a message. And I felt how much gratitude did I have towards these people, although maybe they don't even know my name or don't even remember me, but they had impact in my life. They, as if they put a little source of light inside of my heart whenever they every act of kindness or every act of guidance. Whenever I knocked their door, they had an open door policy. I used to go and ask them, and they used to give with all their hearts. They used to they really influenced me, and I felt and I thought of it later on. It's how much these people had impact on other students. And then they, for example, on each level they teach a class, and then the next year they teach another class, and every time they put something inside these people, and it grows, and they have impact on their lives. Maybe they don't really know how much they impacted us, but we own them a lot. So I was thinking that's a really good investment. That's a really it's a meaning for our lives. I believe that they live inside us as students. So I really wanted to join them at some point. I just carried the message, and I wanted to follow their path. And when I became a staff member, I was hired as a TA in cairouniversity. I had this vision, and I started working on that, creating some sort of not I wouldn't say that I was a teacher to my students. I was trying to be an elder sister that helps them through their hard times. I have an open door policy, come and talk. And so I was just I was fascinated by my professor, and I was lucky to have them. And then I wanted just to carry on with this message, pass it from one generation to another. Yeah.
That's amazing. I know we always chat about teaching as a lifetime investment, because I always say, and I'm sure you also believe that one of the biggest investment that anybody can make, obviously, is in teaching. So
Yeah.
I just wanted you to share your own views about that, about why do you see teaching as a lifetime investment rather than just a profession?
Yeah. So I think there is a difference between teaching and mentorship. Like some people just can stand and teach, and they would be amazing teachers. Like they have like this kind of presentation skills. They have like this charisma, or like they're very charismatic, and they can like stand on the stage, or like in a lecture hall, give a lecture. You understand, and that's it. Like full stop. But mentorship is like beyond that. I feel like I have seen these two types of like teachers throughout my learning career. So starting from school to university, I've seen people who entered the class, and then once they left, maybe I understood whatever they were trying to teach me, but then I just forgot them because they didn't really have an impact on my life. But there's other people who really had like more than that, which is basically they had they changed my views on things. They supported me. They guided me through like some things. So I feel like teaching is not really enough. I feel like mentorship, I think it should be like every teacher has to be a mentor, not only a teacher. And like I believe it's a long life investment, and it's a real investment because so a teacher, like if you think of it, you would I would just like try to describe this as you go into a class, you spend the 1 hour or whatever, an hour and a half teaching people, and at the end of the month you take your salary. But what if you do an extra step, and then you keep you have this kind of open door policy. You open your doors to and your heart to the students, and you try to mentor them, listen to them, do an extra step, and then later on, you never know, you can like these students, it's either you have a good impact and you are living within them, or the others, like another thing, like if we want to talk like in a practical way, maybe these people will be your connection later on, or your network later on, and they will have an impact somehow on your career. And later on, when you're like retired and you're just alone like at your home, you can someone can knock your door and say hi, you used to teach me, or they can have impact on your own kids or even grandchildren, right? They can be like, oh, your mother or your father used to teach me, your mother and your father used to be kind to me, and they did this and that, and so on. So I believe it's a true investment, yes, because money doesn't buy everything. Maybe you have money, but you cannot buy a company, like a company of people. You cannot buy love. You cannot buy a kind act. Maybe you lose all your money, but you have nothing except your reputation and the goodness you have done. So I think that teaching is a great opportunity. This is one thing. The second thing is that I think that teachers have a great opportunity to shape the society, because they have we always describe the kids like a green stem, very delicate and very flexible. And whenever they go to school, teachers have the opportunity to shape the minds, to shape the ideologies and everything. So you guys have a great chance to to make a difference, and to transform these brains into amazing or their minds to amazing minds, and mindsets, and make a difference in the society. So I think don't lose this opportunity.
Yes, that's amazing, and thank you very much. And we've also spoken sometimes about the challenges we face, especially when we're trying to make long-lasting impact, in Africa as a whole. And I just wanted you to share with us some challenges that educators may face, when trying to make this long-lasting impact.
Okay, so challenges, there is, I think I think like to be more than just a teacher is like really a challenge, because you have to be very patient. You have to know, like you have to really know what you're doing. It's not just about like it's not about like listening to a person, or like a certain category of like people, like which are like the top students or something, or like you see like a spectrum of people, different people with different mindsets, with different characters, and you have to deal with all of this. You have to be very patient. You have to have an open heart. So I think one challenge is like being patient, because sometimes you have your own problems, right? You have your own challenges, you have your own things that you want to do, and then some people like come and knock your door and they have like problems, and like they need guidance. So you need to have an open heart. You have this kind of peace inside you. You have like you have to allocate some of your energy to that. So this is one thing. The second thing is that to be honest, is like the society is another problem, is another challenge, like, or the system is another challenge. Like you would find, how many people like have you met that are really like mentors? There are very few, right? And you would find the people around them, since like they don't want to be like them, or they don't want to exert more effort, so it's easier for them to like some, like, I don't want to say like to criticize, like you will find them like will be against you in some sense, and they don't want you to do this, so they will try to kind of criticize you, discourage you. Yes, exactly. So they will try to like always like downgrade what you're doing, and try to discourage you in different other ways, just to make just for both of you to be equal. They don't want to like do an extra step. So instead of doing an extra step, why don't you come back to their own their same level? So the system actually is one of the like biggest challenges, and this like the whole like society. I feel like and I feel bad to say that, but like most of the African systems are really discouraging, and I feel like we need to change this, because we have great minds, we have really amazing people like in the education industry, but because of a lot of pressure on them and a lot of things, they don't really, and maybe it's like less education, like they don't really see this aspect of life, that they didn't see a mentor, they didn't feel like the urge to be mentors, or like what's the impact of mentors on people's life. They didn't try to go on that like this pathway, and maybe the system doesn't encourage them to do that. So I do think that the system is also another challenge, but still you can go against the flow. It will be a challenge, but still you have to, if you feel if you know the value of this thing, you will definitely go against the flow.
You go for it, right? You go for it. I think that's a personal decision, obviously. And I see another challenge also comes with real resources. Sometimes teachers are stressed. Sometimes they lack the resources to be better. So, for example, on the first episode, we spoke about trauma in maybe one in education. So basically, or in academia, there's a whole lot of trauma, and there are no resources to help these teachers to heal from this trauma, maybe as a result of studies or working in a very toxic environment, and they seem to carry that along. Also, another thing I see also is a challenge is that teaching can be a thankless job. I mean, in that immediate sense. What do I mean? Sometimes you've put in so much effort to teach a class, and then when the assessment comes, maybe the student assessment comes back, and you read the comments, it can be heartbreaking, right? You just hear all kinds of things after you've poured so much into it. And that's why sometimes we say to people that don't read the assessment when it comes, and just do your best and look away. And I think again, another challenge that I also think, especially in African countries, is the payment, the money, the remuneration. It's so small especially when you compare it to other places, right? So naturally people don't want to be teachers because they believe that teachers they don't get rich. But again, for people that see it as a lifetime investment, and it changes the game for so those are two different sets of people, right? So like you said, it's based on that teacher, based on that professor, it's based on that lecturer, what they want to do, and be able to make the change that we really need. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and I want to say something about like the low income. When you're talking about like people do like get like very little payment, and this actually make them, even if they have the the intention to make a change and be a mentor and so on, they have to work multiple jobs, maybe different places or like different universities to make a living, and then it ends up that they don't have the energy. They have like little energy. They want to do a change, but they can, if they are like well paid and they have like much more like energy and time, they would make a bigger change. So it's really like I would see that as like a challenge. And this is one of the things that I would say that the professors who made a difference in my life because of such a situation, most of them left actually the university, and they had to go and find another jobs with like well paid, because they were trying their best, and then the best was not enough, so that's a really big challenge too.
Yes, and sincerely, it's also one of the problems we thought about at WGLI, because we found out that one good thing universities in the West have is the adjunct professors, people that are working in the industry and are able to teach. So they're bringing innovation, right? They're bringing the ideas of what is happening in the industry, and they're able to bring that into the faculty, the department, to make that innovation. But we don't have that in Africa, and that's why we at WGLI are helping to provide that adjunct piece. Like, we might not be directly in the university, but we're able to see what is right, what is in the industry. We're able to see what is in research in the West, and able to use it to guide our students through mentorship. So, and that's why I would like to ask this question. Then, how can then educators that want to inspire students, how can they kind of inspire that curiosity, innovation in their students despite all of these challenges? What would you say to them?
Okay, I think that like the students, and I'm not talking about university students, I'm talking about like student in general, like starting from school students. I believe that most of the students in general, like they have this kind of curiosity, they want to know more, but when they are young, they are like a green stem, they have ideas and stuff, and then the society narrows that, like they trim their wings, and they kind of restrict their they bound their thoughts and their ideas and everything, and they kind of shape it that they think in one straight path, which is like the curriculum that they have. They have to memorize, write exams, do their homework, and that's it. Maybe they have like much more, they have ideas, they have maybe you can see it as an educator as a silly idea or a crazy idea, but they have ideas, they can go off the path, but because of the way our system is that it's just like a straight path, and that's it. You cannot go beyond that path. So I think it has two sides. First is the system. Maybe we don't have like much influence on that right now, but we are talking about educators. I believe that like the teachers should leave a room for students to think, and even if you have some if you're talking about a certain topic or something, don't give them the conclusion right away. Give them the time to go and do research, to think on their own, to have like their own ideas and conclusions, and then discuss it. And then listen to them. Even if it sounds silly to you, it's okay. They can, but it leaves a room for them to think. And then maybe when you give them the conclusion, don't even give it like right away. Just throw it in their face. No, just gradually try to not criticize, but guide them to the conclusion you want, if you feel like their conclusion is not good or like whatever. But I feel, and then another thing is that open doors to them. Whenever they say an idea, it's like, okay, what about this and that and that, and then they go and do more research. So it's like they open, like it's like a tree, and then it like more, like you add more branches to that, and then another like more branches, and then they have like conclusions, which is like the fruit on that branch. And I feel like that's why I feel like educators have like a great opportunity to shape the minds, and to shape it in a way that it's not too narrow-minded, like they are like not narrow-minded, or like they just think in one certain direction, which is like what the society wants. It's like, no, they have like this kind of free spirit that they can think of that track. So I think every educator has to open some door for people to think on their own, reach conclusions, yeah. So
Yes,
this is, I think, my advice.
Oh, sorry about that. I thought you were done. Yeah, so allow that space for students to be creative, allow that curiosity to kind of blossom within them, and that's the truth. I think a whole lot of kids that are creative in Africa has been told that they're stupid. So over time, the voice and the creative space, just keeps shrinking, and they just refuse, to be creative anymore. And that's why you wonder that we have so many people with certificates and education and stuff like that, and still there are no innovations that actually kind of meet up with the number of certificates we have. And I think again that's that creative space. And that's why when we compare, obviously, our styles of teaching in Africa and in the West, one is very instructor-led because of our culture in Africa. Some questions in class looks like disrespect. I mean, like a typical teacher in Africa, or professor or lecturer, is not able to then differentiate between honor and obedience. When a student is trying to argue some mathematical kind of theorems and concepts, it sounds rude to them, like this person doesn't have. In Africa, what we end up doing when you don't understand anything is to go back home and then figure it out. You don't want to say, I don't understand it. In the West, when you teach, some people can stop the class and say, I still do not understand what you're saying. Can you make yourself, clear? A typical teacher or an educator in Africa gets upset with that, because it's an instructor-led environment. It's the teacher that calls the shot. But when it comes to the West, it's a student-led environment. So critical thinking, creativity, hands-on and stuff like that. And I just hope that at some point we can become that humble as educators in Africa, and be able to take that feedback from the student and get better as we go on. I know you faced a lot of challenges, especially as a female engineer, obviously in Africa up until now. So I would ask, what are the unique challenges that you have faced along your way from obviously undergrad to a PhD?
Okay, just I want to add something when you like to the previous point, like you said that the kids had like they have like lots of innovative ideas, but like you said, the educators are the one who would drives them within them, right? So I feel like it also contributes to the lack of confidence, like to the educator, because maybe they like a teacher in class, they want to be like very dominant, very knowledgeable, so they cannot really tolerate the idea that maybe a student read more than them, or like they have like an innovative ideas, and this is like it makes them insecure in some sense. So they will like, no, you just do whatever I want you to do. So I feel like and this is one thing I saw in like a professor. He's really open to say that oh, that's a good idea, okay, just like tell me, like go and do research and tell me more, maybe you can do a presentation, like they're open and they kind of praise whatever you do. This is something that I really appreciated at some point, because I know that this person is really knowledgeable, but no one is like knowledgeable in all the fields. and maybe it's just a new, like it's something new or something interesting to him to know about. Like it didn't make him feel insecure or like, oh, this like student will make me look that I don't know everything and stuff like that. So I feel like it needs also like the educators need to have like this kind of self-confidence, and they have to know that it's okay not to know everything, but it's okay. Exactly. And to leave the space for students to like, even you can teach like you can learn from your own students. That's okay. This is
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I remember my professor saying something like that one day, saying that in that space of your research, you are the expert there. You're only teaching us, and we're just guiding you here. So, the fact that a student says something doesn't mean that you have to be able to, or ask a question, you have to be able to provide a solution there and there. Because even Google doesn't even have all the answers sometimes, And that's why we always advocate at WeGuide. Part of our content is that as a teacher, read a book, take a course. The internet, or I would say the 21st century, is a century of knowledge. Students do not want knowledge anymore. They want wisdom. So we teachers need to, or educators need wisdom. Nobody's looking for knowledge. There is knowledge everywhere. The internet is filled with knowledge. ChatGPT is filled with knowledge. There's Udemy, there is Coursera and stuff like that. So your course content only makes sense to them if you're able to bring wisdom to it. So your own artificial intelligence, I would say your human intelligence, must be able to supersede then the artificial intelligence as a student. And I'm just hoping, because going forward, we do have workshops, obviously, to train teachers, and we also going to be having paid courses via sister companies to teach to educators on so many topics, which includes being able to allow students to be able to express themselves creatively around so many topics and areas and stuff like that. So thank you for chipping that in, right? And we really appreciate that. So to my next questions, like I said, what are the challenges you faced, as a female engineer all through your journey?
Okay. So I wouldn't really say, that I really faced like huge, like the way that the West view us, like, oh, we're being like oppressed and stuff. I wasn't like that. I feel like I had like challenges, but not the way that people think it was. Like I wasn't denied, admission because I was a woman. No, it wasn't like that at all. Like I had the opportunity. I was a top student in like our like high school like system, which is like ثانوية عامة. I was like top student, and then I joined the faculty of engineering. I was also a top student. I would say that the only thing that I like, or not only thing, but like I would talk in general, what I've seen like hardships for women in engineering is basically like in the markets, for example, like not in communication, but like some like some other fields in engineering, they do prefer like a male engineer more than a female. This is one thing, but this is not in technology, because it's like more, I would say I didn't see that, or I didn't hear about it, at least in Egypt. But another thing is that I think we should like look more into equity, because we have to understand, like at least this is what I believe, that like women and men are created differently. Both are smart, but we have different, like we are created differently. God just created us differently with different challenges. Maybe we have like different responsibilities in life. So I feel that there should be more opportunities for women based on what responsibilities she has, and like society has to help her more to pursue her career without having to sacrifice everything just to be equal to men. This is one thing. This is what I feel. And the second challenge is that it's like our field is like a male dominant field, which is like for example, I would say my experience here, like in Canada, I feel like for me, like the connections is really like people like the connections or like the network here is like, because it's like a male dominant society. I feel like they have more opportunities into like industry more than women, and here they actually favor men over like having a man more than a woman, because maybe they see that woman has like different other responsibilities with families and other things that makes her like her commitment is like maybe less. But I see that is like not really fair enough, because you have to give her like give the woman some chance. So yeah, this is basically what I have seen. But I wouldn't say that I had like huge challenges and like
A whole lot of people face more challenges, maybe because they are married and with children.
Yeah.
So it becomes a different ball game entirely. And sometimes also maybe people see color more. Sometimes maybe that's again another challenge, why some people still feel like, oh, I am chosen over that and everything. But I'm, like you said, I'm not sure I've really felt I had anyone maybe said I wasn't good enough. Obviously sometimes you see people misbehave, but I don't think I've ever been worried. It has affected me so much that someone has decided to judge me, maybe based on my gender or maybe based on my color, right? I don't see it that way. Even sometimes
I do in Africa. Like in Africa, I didn't even feel the idea of like color, to be honest. And
Exactly.
I've never seen the gender thing, because I was the second. My rank was the second, and I was hired similar to like the male like top students. So I never felt, and I was given priority because I was the second. So I was like, okay. I've never felt that. Yeah.
Even I don't even see, even sometimes when I get to a place and people, like for example, some emails still come and they address me as Mr.
Oh.
For whatever reason, where they feel like he's a man. so I still do not feel it somehow, and I sometimes also do not like the fact that I get a position or I get a favor because I'm a woman. I want to get it because I qualify for it. I qualify for the position. So maybe that's the only bit I do not like. I don't like it to be like, oh, okay, we gave it to her because she's a woman and we have a quota for women that we need them to fill up. So that's just the part I do not like. When it comes to
I don't like the
thing.
equity.
Sorry,
I don't like the quota thing. But still, like I didn't need it till now. But one of the things is that sometimes you have to understand that both like the responsibilities of both genders. Like for example, the woman does have other work to do at home when she comes back. Like you said, like you have like your kids here, like things at home to do. So they have to, like, I wouldn't say that like they have to hire you because you're a woman and they have to give you more opportunities just because you're a woman. But the idea is that you are like, mashallah, like you're very smart, you're like committed, dedicated to what you're doing. So and you are able to have the work done. But sometimes you for example, you have you want to have like a family and like kids and so on, and you need like, for example, like maternity leave, and you need like some support, and like you have different responsibilities. So I think that like they have to understand that even if you're capable of doing the same job as men, you are still you have different responsibilities as men. Like I don't believe that men would have to come back at home like after they finish work and then they have to do everything at home, take care of kids, do whatever, the chores, everything. They can help into that, but like the main responsibility is like for the woman. So I think this has to be in mind too, in some sense. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
No, I do agree, because also pregnancy, for example, changes a lot of people. Like I do have a friend now, after having kids, she doesn't remember things very well. She has to write it down, or you have to tell her a few times for her to remember. So pregnancy for some people affected their memory. So it changes people. So you have a job, and pregnancies are even different. So the fact that you have the first one, it felt that way, will also have different effect. The second way. Some people lose their teeth because they're pregnant. Some people lose their eyesight because they're pregnant. So I do understand obviously the quota system when trying to put that into consideration, right? But again, I would not like a woman to be treated in such a way that, oh, we only gave you that job because we had to fill up the quota. It's not because you qualify. You see what I mean? That's the bit I do not understand. There has to be the way the society has to be able to accommodate us, accommodate all the biological processes we have to go through to actually make life, or to even sacrifices we have to make to make the society keep going, just that. That's what I mean. But I'm just hoping it gets better, right? And also in Africa especially, I hope it gets better for women, so that we can have many more people, come into the profession. Quite a lot of people even stop at masters and don't want to go into PhD, and some people go into PhD and they switch areas because it becomes really, really difficult then to be able to combine it all with kids. But anyway, so what would be one piece of advice you would want to give educators that are willing to leave legacies, maybe through teaching? Because I know you have I know we've spoken about stories of your experience with students that you've helped and you didn't even remember, and then they came back to come help you. So what would be your one piece of advice? And if you want to share the story, you're also welcome to.
Okay, so an advice for that, like the women, or just like educators?
Educators in general that want to leave a legacy. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that you have to sit with yourself, determine what exactly do you want to do in your life, what vision, what's your life vision, and then once you reach the idea of okay, I want to make an impact on people's life, I want to make a change, just do whatever you see is right, do your thing, and just don't think about it, just let it go. And one act of kindness will create ripples of kindness, and it will make a huge effect. So just do your thing, set your intentions, and then let it go, and it will come back.
It always comes back, right? It always comes back.
Yeah.
And
speaking about the story, I wouldn't say share much details, but I would say that I remember that I had this intention because I was really influenced by what I've been taking from my professors. And then when I was teaching, I had this kind of, I want to make a change, and I want to help people as much as I can. And I had this kind of open door policy. You can just come, knock the door, come and tell me what's your problem. If I have something in my head, I would just do it. If I don't, I would just listen and try to guide you as much as I can. I would never judge, and whatever you say, I would never judge you. People used to come and tell me stories about their personal life, things that I didn't really know what to do. Sometimes I just even said just just a supportive word. Just I listen to them. Some people, they don't really want answers as much as they want to be listened to. Some people I try to help them with some solution, or some suggestions and stuff. And then I just at some point I wasn't sure that I was making a difference, to be honest. I wasn't even sure that I really impacted them. I thought it's just something I did, and at some point I was doubtful about what I was the path I was moving into. I was am I really doing a difference? Am I doing an impact? Do they really sense what I'm doing? And at some point my answer was no. And then years passed, and I was in some a life crisis, And I was really in a, like, I reached out through my Facebook account that I need help with some X and Y and Z, and like some of my students, they reach out trying to help me with it. And then I was like, and then like it wasn't much of help. And then I remember one day someone, they helped me with, like, they just tried to help me, and then they came back to me telling me that they owe me. And I was like, owe me? What did I, like, why do you owe me? I did nothing. I don't even remember that I owe you, like, you owe me something. So he just like told me that he was in that situation, and then I tried to help him with that thing, and because of like of me, he's now doing this and that and that, and I had like huge impact that he will never forget. And I was like, wow, okay, I don't even remember I did that. And I remember I was just like, it was just some words, I didn't do much, I just like, maybe he was just like drowning, and I just like, it's just like as if someone is drowning, and I just like, even like I didn't even give a hand. I just told him like, maybe do this and you'll get out of it, and I was like, wow, maybe I did an impact. And then things afterwards, when people, like a friend of mine, she's working in a company, and she says, you know what, I've met someone you were teaching, and they are like fascinated, or like they say this and that on you. And I was like, really? Do they even remember me after all these years? I feel like I wasn't that impactful, but it seems like, you just need to do your thing and just leave it. It will come back to you.
It definitely will. It definitely will. Teaching is a lifetime investment, and I'm hoping that everyone that is an educator or plans to be an educator is able to sit down and really see teaching more than a profession. There are so many dimensions to it, and also look out for that. We have a new material coming out on that space, and we also have many courses coming out to be able to help educators to kind of function in that space for mentorship. And also, if you're a teacher and you want to ask questions of how do I then become a mentor as a teacher, we do have videos on our YouTube page. Please do like and subscribe, and you can see we have 2 videos where we show you 10 steps on how you can become a mentor as an educator. So we would like to say a very big thank you to Dr. Hesham for giving us a time this afternoon, and we really appreciate you for coming in. And we really appreciate also your support.
Thank you so much.
Your support in spreading the word that we guide, in Egypt and across Africa. And as I always say, behind the cameras, and I'm going to say this today, and I know the first thing you're going to say is mashallah, and it's okay, and that we're going to come to Egypt the day we're going to come celebrate Dr. Hesham. We're going to celebrate her in a big way, because I know something big is coming, and we're going to come in a big way. We're going to come in a big way to support our own. Thank you, Dr. Hesham. We appreciate you guys. And thank you for everyone that has stayed. Do you have a word for one of our viewers around Egypt? Maybe, I'm sure Egyptians are watching. Your students in Cairo?
Yeah, I like I don't know, like I just want, first I want to thank you, and I really adore your initiative, and I feel like I hope to see it one day, like the top like platform which like mentors people in the world, because I think that mentorship is like a very important thing. And thank you for making me a part of it, because it's not only that I'm like impacting only like people in my country. This gave me the opportunity to have like more impact on people like all over like Africa. So thank you actually, Adebola, for that. And I would just like one thing to give to all our viewers is that just try to like just live your life with like the vision of doing an impact in other people's life, because this actually lives forever. Don't live with no impact, because you will just be forgotten once you're like, we're all dying at some point. So live within people, live as much as you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Adema. Yeah.
Yes, leave your mark, okay? Don't run just after money. When you run after impact, money is a byproduct of impact. So, and say again, thank you everybody for staying tuned. Thank you,
so
Dr.
much,
Hesham.
Adebola.
And until the next episode, bye everybody, and see you soon.